Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We continue to do that. We've got over 1,400 of these available in this archive, and we continue to add. This is our Life Lesson Series, number 265, and the Life Lesson Series, just something that I do to try to bring about positive resolution to a really good nature to things. The life lessons are just things that you may be missing because at the end of the day, sometimes there are things that you know, life gets busy and you kind of walk away from or look away from. And so, if you're looking for life coaching, business coaching, any sort of coaching, relationships, anything in the endpoint, would love to be of assistance to you in that way. Please feel free to reach out at PO Perception on Twitter and or in the About Me section of this YouTube page, and then we can kind of go from there, make something good happen. So the first thing is be aware. Be aware of where your weaknesses are. Be aware of what your strengths are. Be aware of the things that matter to you. Be aware of what you're trying to accomplish. Be aware of anything that could be a pitfall that takes your mind off course. In other words, you get lost in the moment of kind of feeling like nothing is going in the way that you want it to go, or that your emotions get the better of you and you end up making decisions that aren't in accordance with the type of person that you desire to be. When you begin to understand how to do that, why to do that, and the importance of doing that in general, then you're actually owning your life and living life rather than life living you. And so when you begin to understand how to do that and the importance of doing that in a way that makes sense for you, it becomes easier to handle all of the challenges associated with those life decisions. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to kind of look at things from that perspective. Other times it's just, a stress point or a point of contention. But at the end of the day, it's about making decisions that are going to lead you in a direction which will take you in a good direction for your future and in terms of what you need to connect with in order to make things matter in the long run of things. Now, next thing to look at is forgiveness. Look, forgiveness isn't about the other person, and it's not even necessarily about you completely. It's about monitoring where your energy goes and what you're putting energy into. Holding on to bitterness, resentment, or frustration, it can only serve to drain you emotionally, mentally, spiritually speaking, and doesn't necessarily ever lead you in a direction that's going to resolve itself at any level. So when you begin to understand that you are leaning in a direction of doing exactly that you're leaning towards going towards kind of burning yourself out on account of things that don't matter in the long run. That is, if you're angry at somebody and holding on to it, the end of the day, they don't care whether you're happy or not. They don't necessarily care whether you got a semblance of justice or not. They care that they got over on you, and that's really difficult to hear sometimes. But the reality is, if you're looking for levels of justice that aren't materializing, I'm not saying give up on looking for it, but also it's time to refocus, because sometimes things don't go the way that they should, or that are going to be a positive resolve. Sometimes positive resolve is letting go of expectations of what we wanted or perceived to need at another point. The next is kind of use your sensory acuity towards getting to something you actually want out of life. In other words, be sensitive to identifying what it is that you want, what it is that you need, and how to get there from here. Sometimes being that sensitive means kind of paying attention to when you feel out of balance. And when you begin to feel emotionally, mentally, spiritually out of balance, addressing it sooner rather than later. A lot of times people hold on to things longer than they should because they think things are going to resolve themselves. And when they don't, they've wasted a lot of energy, a lot of focus, a lot of thought, a lot of emotion around things that didn't pay off for them, or can't pay off for them, or won't pay off for them. And so that can be super painful, especially for individuals who don't want to accept that that's happening at any level. And so there's challenges there, right? like we have to make sure that the amount of energy and time and effort we're putting into things is going to pay off in a manner that really is going to be the level that we want it to be at, and ultimately leading things in a direction that can have positive resolve and positive outcome, and that can be somewhat overwhelming. Be willing to serve wherever you can. Service is essential to making the world a better place, but it's also essential to rebalancing and making you feel connected with something greater than yourself. When you're only connected with something such as yourself, you don't get the benefit of feeling the interconnection with other people, which ultimately leads to burnout. So hopefully this is helpful. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.